Hello, everybody. I wanted to address a very important issue real quick. The last few days, I've repeatedly seen comments, messages of people talking about racism without actually knowing what racism is. So starting with myself, maybe 8-9 years ago, I used to think racism is what everybody thinks about is, okay, if one race hates another, then it's racism. But there was one woman, and I hope she'll be watching this video. She's a German. Her name is Elke. She has black children too. And she was actually the one that opened my eyes, and I'm very, very grateful for that. I came to understand that racism is not what the system tells us to. So, racism is a white invention. Before Europeans came to Africa, Africans knew nothing about racism. So, the fact that racism exists today is because white people set up a system that was built on the back of black people and people of color. Like I used to say, a black person can never be racist. A black person can reproduce racism or can be discriminating, but he can or she can actually never be racist. That's because when you talk about racism, you have to always look at the past, like the origin of racism. And the origin of racism comes from colonization and from slavery. So when you talk about races, that is something that the white people brought to Africa, brought to the world, to divide people, human beings, into races. Asians, Mexicans, blacks, whites, or very popular is also the name Caucasians. I am not a Caucasian, I'm not from the Caucasus area. So just because that I'm white doesn't mean that I'm actually a Caucasian. So the fact about racism, racism is based on power of one ethnicity over another, which is white people over black people and people of color. There was no time in history that black people had power over white people to an extent that they built an entire system discriminating and outcasting white people only because of their skin color. Wherever you go as a white person in this world, you will never have a problem to find a house, a job, or even to have a simple seat on the train. But that happens to black people on a daily basis, every single day, all over the world. So even in their own countries, let me use Nigeria as an example, they experience racism because Nigerians, if I go there as a white person, I'm less qualified or educated, if you want to take it like that, than a Nigerian, but I will more likely get the job just because I'm white and I came from abroad. That is racism in a black man's country. So to understand the construct of racism, you don't have to open Wikipedia, then you put racism there and you see that they are talking one rubbish about religion and race, and this racism is based on what white people did to black people. That I'm here today and I enjoy something that is called white privilege is because what white people did to black people. I will never have a problem. If I go to Africa, I will never have a problem to find a house, to find a job. It just doesn't happen. When white people go to Africa, they are called expats. But when black people come to Europe, they are called foreigners, refugees, asylum seekers. But in most cases, they are higher qualified than us. If you look at the rate of education in Nigeria, based on the people that went to university, is higher than the people that went to university in Germany, but it's not accepted here. because it's a third world country, right? So racism is alive today because white people did what they did to black people all over the world. So you as a black person or as a white person saying there's something like reverse racism, or even there's a person that can be racist like a black person, is not like that. That is just a false statement. You need to stop saying that, because by saying a black person can be racist, you're only supporting a system that was set up by the same people that are still deceiving us and dividing us up to today. So apart from the fact that there are no races, it just, had it been we are different races, I could not have children with a black man because our genetics cannot work together, you know. But I obviously have, like thousands of others too. So you cannot talk about races when it comes to human beings. Maybe you can talk about ethnicities or nationalities or even tribes if you want, but it's not racist. That is just a false statement. That comes from colonization. And when talking about racism in our everyday language, just look at the fact you're blackmailing someone. You are going to the black market. You're doing black work. You don't do white work. You don't white mail somebody. Why black? Why? Who came up with this kind of things? Who came up with that kind of terms? Because everything is connected. And once you get to understand the racism in our everyday languages, you will understand how deep the construct of racism goes. Like many people refer to my children as mixed or as biracial. My children are not biracial. Their mother is not a cow and their father is a human being. You know, my children, they are humans. It's just that they have a darker skin color. So, that just like the word interracial, like what the hell is interracial? What is interracial supposed to be? That a white person is dating a black person and then you're calling it interracial because it crosses races? No. We are human beings. We are not races. So the whole construct of black skin, white skin, Asian skin, whatever, that is thousands of years back. There was nothing like that, and we were still perfectly fine. So the problem is that we were classified, or we are being classified and forced into a system of racism, because the fact alone that you are categorizing human beings into their skin color is racism. So stop saying a black person or a person of color can be racist, because that is rubbish. And by saying this, you're only supporting the division between human beings that was created by the white man. Mr. Man is angry. So when we come to the question of who am I to talk about racism, because obviously I'm a white person and I cannot be a victim of racism, but that I cannot be a victim of something doesn't mean that I have to ignore it, or that I would just act like it doesn't concern me because it doesn't affect me. Because if you do that and if you think like that, then you are just as guilty as the one actually oppressing black people and people of color. Because the moment you see injustice and you see things going wrong, and you don't want to speak up, maybe because you don't have the guts to, or for whatever reason, then you're guilty, whether you like it or not. I'm not saying that you're automatically racist. Maybe you don't even share the same opinion than the person that is oppressing. But by keeping quiet, you have chosen the side of the oppressor, which automatically makes you guilty. And that is why this system was able to be built, because millions of white people were and still are quiet about injustice up to today. So I'm not here to educate black people, or that is not my duty, because that is not my place. I need to stay in my lane, and I'm very aware of that. That is not what my intention is. My intention is to open the eyes of my fellow white people, because the person that the people that created racism are white people, and the people that have to end racism are white people. And as long as white people keep ignoring the fact of that racism is still alive, it will never stop. Because you can't like black people, what have black people not done in the past? Is it the Black Lives Matter movement that is just of recent? Is it the Black Panther Party? Is it demonstrating? Where has it taken black people to? They are still in shackles. It's just that slavery is no longer physical, is no longer obvious, it's now mental. So the oppression of black people is still just as recent as it was 500 years ago. So it has not changed. The world has not changed. It's just that now is more what I would say hidden. Because it's now, people are more aware of what happened then. But that doesn't mean that racism is no longer alive or that people are no longer racist. No. Like, look at the Black Panther Party. It was forbidden by the government, but the KKK is still there. They are still very active. So how can you, this is just double standard. You are forbidding one thing that is just looking for the justice they deserve. And meanwhile, you are forbidding another thing that is clearly not a peaceful organization. So the moment you as a white person realize, or maybe even you witness situations of injustice or situations of racism, and you decide to be quiet, you're guilty. You are guilty, whether you like it or not. You don't have to stand up and start shouting Black Lives Matter. That is not what I'm saying. But stand up and speak up for people that need our voices. For God's sake, we are one human, we are all one. We are all one. And the time I realized, like the first time I went to Nigeria and I was taken in by people I did not know before. People that made me theirs without a single doubt. They didn't know me. They didn't know my intention. They only knew I'm married to their brother. But that doesn't automatically mean they have to take me in. But they did. And even when I traveled to Nigeria alone, I was welcomed. I was loved by people that loved me just for who I am, not for what I gave them. Or these are the same people that are being oppressed by the system. You know, my family is affected, my children are affected, my husband is affected on a daily basis. And I cannot sit down and keep quiet because I don't want to be guilty. So it affects us in every single way. As a black person, it affects you because you are facing the struggle. And as a white person, it affects you because you are enjoying the privileges that white people gave you during slavery. Of course, no living white person is responsible for slavery. But every white person reaps its benefits just like every black person wears its scars, whether you like it or not. These are facts, and it's not up for debate. It's not my opinion. These are plain facts that everybody can see if you can only open your eyes. If you can only open your eyes and see the injustice that is going on. Sometimes I get messages from white people calling me all sorts of names because of what I say or what I post. Because I don't need to limit myself on Facebook. If I see someone in the real life, the people that know me, they know I don't take shit. I'm sorry to say it, but I will not stand and watch you discriminate somebody and I will be guilty. It is never going to happen. So I only wish. I've been in a situation before. I was just 15 or 16 years and I was bullied and harassed, and I was threatened by a group of people, of boys, that threatened to beat me up because there was a girl from Ghana. She was in the tram and they were bullying her because of her skin color. The tram was full and nobody stood up for her. Nobody had the guts to tell these stupid boys to shut up. So even at the point where I stood up for that girl, I still got no backup. I still got no help from my fellow white people. So had it been they decided to beat me up there, I would be left alone in the midst of people. And that is the problem. That is the problem we are facing today. That is why we are how we are and where we are today. This is why the system is still like this. Because people are cowards. You are cowards if you listen and watch and you don't talk. You are guilty in every possible way. You must not stand up and call another person the N-word for you to be guilty. So I can only talk and tell my fellow white people, even my dad that was born in the 1950s, he grew up and the N-word was totally normal for him. It was a normal word. But watch someone discriminate my husband in front of my father. My father will go mad. He will go mad. He will protect my husband and my children with his life because he loves them. And that is just because he's open. Age is not a limit. You can't tell me, yeah, I'm 60 years. I don't know. The N-word was normal in my time. I don't care. You didn't have a smartphone in your time. You didn't have a TV that was showing like a smart TV. But you have it now. Why are you willing to change in every possible way, but you're not willing to change your language? We as white people, we don't have the right to tell another person, a person of color, a black person, what they are supposed to be offended about and what they are supposed to be hurt about. We don't have that right because it does not affect us. You can't be going around telling black person, get over slavery, because you're not there. You are not there. They have not been enslaved. No, my husband has never been enslaved physically, but he's been enslaved mentally on a daily basis. Let it be looking for a job, looking for a house, even going to buy a car. There are things that happen to him that will never happen to a white person. It will never happen. And if you deny that, you are a racist. I don't care who you are. That is just how it is. I cannot count how many times, let it be in public authorities, the first thing they say, they look at my husband, do you speak German? Why don't you ask him? Why don't you ask him in German to see if he can speak German? There was a time somebody asked me, does your husband speak German? He was sitting by my side. Why can't you ask him yourself? How do I know if he can speak German? If you don't, why do you ask me but not him? There are situations I faced, I witnessed in his presence. I went out crying because I couldn't imagine that this is still happening in 2017. As we got our first son, yeah, Raymond is already 8 years. So Munachiso he's just 1 year now. I was in the hospital for only 3 days. And I'm not lying when I'm telling you that I got asked 7 times if he's the father of my 2 children. And even one nurse said, you can never know, you're still young. What she meant to say was, you're still young and your husband is black. So there's no way he can be the father of the 2 of them. Because, black people, they don't stay with their women. That kind of rubbish. This is racism you face as a black person on a daily basis. Every single day. It doesn't matter if it's the restaurant you're going to that the people serve you later than people that came after you. It doesn't matter if it's an authority that are asking you stupid questions. There are situations black people go through every day that people like me and you, we can never understand the pain. We can never understand what it means to be discriminated because we have darker skin. It's not even that you're discriminating somebody because maybe the person is an idiot. You're discriminating somebody because of the pigment of their skin. And you don't know that you're stupid for doing that. You do that you're not even ashamed. You are not even ashamed to discriminate somebody because of their skin color. Because you think, after all, they are taking our jobs, or they are refugees, or they are doing this. 9. No, it is just not true. It is not true. Where am I going to start? Since this refugee crisis, how the media calls it, has been hitting Germany, it is even getting worse. 2 years ago, my husband got beaten up on the streets by an old man because I parked wrongly. I didn't even park wrongly, though. And the man got my husband in the car and he started calling him names and he beat him up on the streets. And people did nothing about it. Absolutely nothing. We are still waiting for the court case though, because, you know, if he's a black person, he will be sentenced to whatever they want to sentence him to within 6 months. This is 2 years ago in October, and we have still not gotten any verdict. And then people are telling me I should be quiet about racism because it doesn't affect me. I will never be quiet, never. And if it's the last thing I will do on earth, I will never be quiet because I own this to my children and my husband and my family and every single black person on this planet. We are guilty if we don't talk, if we don't speak up. Everybody that is watching this, if you're a white person and you're hearing me, think, because karma will get you. Karma will get everybody. And if you're guilty, karma will get you double. I promise you that. Now, apart from that, I just want to, my motive for speaking up is simply because I'm a human being and I see injustice. That is all. I don't need to justify myself for speaking up for my husband, for my family or my children. I don't need a reason for doing that. If people will go on the road and fighting for the rights of lesbians, nobody is asking questions. Nobody will ask them, why are you talking about the rights for lesbians? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why would you question me talking about racism? Because it doesn't affect me. Then you are racist already. You're already there. So no matter what, first of all, it's not my choice. I did not choose slavery. I did not choose colonization, but I can choose to be an idiot or to be a decent human being. The fact that we even have to address this in 2017 is already alarming, but people will not know. They don't want to realize that. So whatever you do in your daily life, you are never affected by racism if you are a white person. Never. You can go to a shop without anybody following you. You can go and park your car anyhow. Yeah, okay, you might get a fine. You can go walk down the streets without being harassed. You can go to the shopping mall without anybody looking at you as if you're going to steal something. How many times did I get stopped from random white people that want to touch my children? Why wouldn't you go and touch another white kid? What is the problem with touching my children? You don't touch my children anyhow. Because they are so cute. Because this kind of children are always cute. The best is even if they start calling them chocolate babies or whatever they call them. No. Go and call your own child mayonnaise child or cheese child or whatever they want to call it. Don't call my children names based on their skin color. It is racism. And then if I say, the people will say, why must I take racism that far? Because it is that far. It is that deep. So it must be addressed no matter what. And it must be addressed until every single white person has realized what we do to black people if we don't stand up for them. So don't ever come and ask me, why would you talk about racism if it doesn't affect you? Don't. You're stupid. You're making a fool of yourself. With that being said, my lovely people, with that being said, I want to appreciate you all. You are wonderful. Sometimes I get comments and I'm here shining my eyes like it's so cute. I appreciate all the messages I get, and sometimes I even get messages that make me cry like a small baby, because I get messages from people I don't even know. Maybe they somehow read my post and they decide to write me, and this means so much to me. And it means that even a simple post on Facebook can give somebody light in their darkness. You can be someone's light in their darkness. You must not walk around thinking you cannot change anything. Even if you start with writing simple posts on Facebook, you get to people that you would normally never have contact to, and you don't even know what your presence, your online presence in their life might change. You know, you can impact people's life only by giving them hope and telling them, because like the media always asks Muslims to like not to apologize, but to distance themselves from terrorists. I'm distancing myself from racists. I don't want to have anything to do with that. They share the same color than me, but that is all. We have nothing in common. I don't want to have anything to do with this kind of people. The fact that I'm enjoying white privileges alone because people got enslaved by people that have the same skin color than me is already a shame, a very big shame. The more I think about the fact that white people only did this to blacks because they are black, or that some people hate my husband only because of the pigment of his skin, it drives me crazy. And sometimes I get so angry, I don't even know where to put my anger to. Then I ask myself, if it can affect me in such a way, what of somebody that actually gets discriminated directly because of their skin color? Just imagine a sister or a brother going to a job interview and they will not be taken because they are black. I'm already going nuts over things that don't affect me personally, not to talk of someone that is directly being discriminated. So it is just a small something, but that small something can change so much sometimes. I will never put myself in a situation of saying I'm able to change whatever, whoever. But if only one person can read my post and it will make them think and be like, if a fellow white person can write this kind of thing, maybe there's some truth in it. They will go and do their research, and from that they become a different person. Then that is an achievement for me. I have won already. So I love you all. Everybody that is watching my videos or sharing my posts. Sometimes we don't chat. We don't chat on a daily basis, or we don't even have contact. But I see you, and I love you, and I'm glad for everybody, and especially my family, each and everybody of you, the Chilaka family from Bise, Imo State. You are the people that gave me life. I love you people with all my heart. I cannot even find words. I'm going to start crying if I don't stop this now. So I'm forever grateful for all the love you have shown me, and I love you all so much, and I just want this world to be a better place for all of us, and especially for black people. So wherever you are and whatever you do, I pray that God will bless your struggle, God will bless your hustle. Let your dreams come true. Never stop dreaming. Never stop dreaming. You are perfectly made the way you are. You're unique. There's only one you. So grow beyond yourself. Use whatever situation you are into to grow beyond yourself, because everybody of us is a blessing, and we all have an aim in life. Sometimes it might take you time to find your purpose in life, but we are all here for something. And yeah, we need peace. We need peace for black people. That is all we need. Because if we can only treat black people the way they treat white people in Africa, we won't have problem. We will not have problem. Or notwithstanding the kind of struggle white people brought to Africa, still blacks are welcoming us and loving us for the way we are. And then they come here and they are being outcasted, being called all sorts of names just because they didn't come from a Western world country. Africa is more civilized than the West can ever be. In 200 years, we can never be civilized like Africa is. There were human rights, women's rights that Africans had long before civilization occurred in Europe. So I appreciate you all, and may God bless each and everybody of you, and I wish you all a productive weekend. I need to take this boy to bed. He's sleeping. Thank you everybody for watching the video, and God bless you all. Bye.